What's up, everybody? It's the Sports Code, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. This is another NBA or basketball update. A lot of things have happened since the All-Star break, and I feel like I just need to get a lot of things off my chest. A lot of things that have negatively, also positively impacted a lot of teams. Before we get started, please like and subscribe if you enjoy the video. Helps me kind of figure out what I need to make for everybody. And let's get straight into it. So first off, I want to talk about the Damian Lillard injury, and because I believe that's the first thing that really happened before the All-Star break. With Damian Lillard's injury, I want to talk about whether or not the Portland Trailblazers would be able to make the playoffs without him. I think so far they've missed him, but at the end, I think a lot of players are stepping up for the Portland Trailblazers. Carmelo dropped 32 points. CJ McCollum dropped 42 points. 9 rebounds and like 11 assists. So there's very good stats, very good performances from the Portland Trailblazers. But overall, I just don't think there's going to be enough for them. I don't even think they're in the playoff race now. So with Damian Lillard, it's probably going to be a stretch. But now without him, it's going to be really tough. I do think Damian Lillard, I'm pretty sure, is possibly able to return within time to before the playoffs starts, and if that's the case, that's good news for Portland. There might be a slim chance. I do definitely think that it's too little too late, in my opinion. We'll see what happens. Damian Lillard is my favorite point guard to watch, besides Derrick Rose, of course, and he's by far my favorite point guard in terms of the star quality. I think he's extremely underrated as a player just because of the team he plays for and everything. And it's sad that he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. But damn, man, if he went to another team, I think he would be the talk of the world, the talk of the NBA. He would be the face. Honestly, I truly believe that. But nevertheless, it is what it is, and we'll see what happens with Portland. But that's just one thing I want to get off my chest. Another one is the Kyrie Irving injury as well. So anybody that doesn't know, Kyrie Irving is expected to miss the majority, if not all, of the NBA season with surgery. I believe it's something to do with his hip or his shoulder. I'm not really sure. It's terrible. Honestly, I feel so sorry for Kyrie. He doesn't seem to stay healthy for a majority of the time. It sucks, but it is what it is. And I really hope that this doesn't affect Brooklyn Nets in any way. And the question could be asked, does Brooklyn Nets make the playoffs now? And this is a completely different answer from what I'm about to say with Portland, because I definitely think the playoffs are basically locked in for the Brooklyn Nets. The reason why, the teams that are not in the playoffs are extremely underperforming. Wizards, Hornets, Bulls, Pistons, Cavs, Knicks, all of them are underperforming extremely right now. So it's going to take a miracle. And Brooklyn Nets played majority of that season without Kyrie Irving. So at the end of the day, we can say all we want, but I definitely think that the playoffs is going to be in Brooklyn Nets' future, especially this season. Definitely 8 seed minimum and 7 seed max. I think that's how it is at the moment. And they're going to go, they'll probably get eliminated in the first round. They have a very good team without Kevin Durant and without Kyrie Irving. So with those two back, that's when they're going to kick it off, and they'll be a top 4 team most likely. And that's going to be a good thing to see. And there's going to be more competition in the NBA. That's what we all want, really. What we all want. And it sucks because Kyrie Irving just can't seem to catch a break. First with the Cavs, he had so many injuries with the Cavs. Celtics, he had injuries and mental breakdowns. And no player should ever go through that alone. And as soon as he seems to be happy and finding himself again, he just ends up getting injured, which cannot help him. But I know it takes for a man to physically and mentally come back from things like this will just make them stronger, so they can face anything in their path, whether it is another injury or another mental breakdown. I'm sure he's strong enough to overcome it. And I think Kyrie is a better player for this, really. I think Kyrie is a very, very good player. There's a lot of talk about whether he could be a star player on a team. I definitely think he can be. Just because it failed once doesn't mean it's going to fail again. I definitely think he could be the face with Kevin Durant or the Brooklyn Nets, and I definitely think he can overcome anything that's in his path, especially surgeries. His body is clearly not cooperating with what he wants, but it doesn't mean it can't change. Look, it happened with Derrick Rose. His body wasn't His bodies wasn't supporting him at the time, and his mind and body were in a different place. And over time, it ended up working itself out, and it ended up being what Derrick Rose is today: a fantastic scorer, a very good starting point guard, and could potentially be our most improved candidate this year. That's what Derrick Rose has become from so many obstacles put in front of him. Kyrie now faces similar, maybe not as extreme, but definitely similar circumstances, and it's up to him now whether he can face it with the strength that Derrick Rose did. And I 100% believe that he will overcome the surgery, who'll overcome this injury, who'll overcome whatever happens next. He can't catch a break. I'm sure it's definitely not a nice feeling. And there's a lot of people making fun of him on social media as well. But those people, honestly, for Kyrie, those people don't matter. Those people don't know the situation that he's in. Those people probably would never understand what Kyrie's situation is in until they go through it themselves. I don't know the situation, but I'm in no way or have any right to judge or make fun of someone for going through an injury. That's just, in my opinion, my way of doing things. It's not right. I don't like making fun of people for their injuries and everything like that. Like it's just wrong in my opinion. Let's move on from that. Onto some Detroit Pistons news. We'll first off start with Reggie Jackson. So the Pistons have waived Reggie Jackson, bought him out, and the Clippers are expected to sign him or have signed him for Reggie Jackson to come to the Clippers. This is a great move for the Clippers. Definitely, I think maybe it's not really a. I guess they need a backup point guard. But I thought Lou Williams kind of was their backup point guard. But at the end of the day, this was still a very good pickup for the Clippers. And this is just another leap forward to improving a bench that was already so strong. And it's becoming even stronger. He could even be a starter in some games. It depends on the offensive or defensive ways that Doc Rivers wants to start. If he needs a better offensive option, then Reggie Jackson would start over Pat Beverly. But if defense is the way to go, then Pat Beverly starts. It gives variety. It gives strength in the squad. It gives depth. It gives everything that the Clippers already have, but have more of, and more chances of getting to the finals, which is obviously their end goal, to win a championship. And this is just another step forward for them. For the Detroit Pistons, honestly, this sucks for the Detroit Pistons, and I'm really sick of making fun of the Detroit Pistons for the moves they make. I guess it makes sense because he was going to sign the player option, but if you're looking for a rebuild, I don't think buying out players is the best option. I definitely think you could have put Reggie Jackson in a trade package. If you got what you got for Andre Drummond, you definitely could have packaged him with Blake Griffin or packaged him alone and at least got something out of this instead of just buying him out because there's going to be a team that would want Reggie Jackson. He is a good player. He's a good role player. Yes, he's making a lot of money, but for a 1 year type thing, some players are going to take that. Some NBA teams will take that. And I just think they're just not being patient right now. This has happened too many times. This has happened when you could have waited, or you could have done it earlier for Andre Drummond. If you don't pull the trigger when you want to, you definitely don't pull it quickly. You need to wait till the end of the season. Wait until the trade deadline comes back, and you can get good, at least decent, or even if it's bad, it's better than just buying him out. That's just not the right move, in my opinion. It wasn't the right way to go. But what do I know? But still, it's just the way that it feels, the ways that it seems like they're desperate, the Detroit Pistons. And Reggie Jackson ended up being the winner out of all this, and Detroit ends up losing another asset and ends up losing another way to start a rebuild, which sucks. But we'll see what happens now with them. Looks like also Markieff Morris has joined the Los Angeles Lakers from the Detroit Pistons, and it's almost the exact same thing I can say here. The Lakers secure a very good bench option for them, potentially a starter in some games, a very good three-point shooter, a 3-and-D player, space the floor, and he's very efficient as well. He's one of the better three-point shooters in the NBA. The Lakers definitely got better. They added to a bench that was weak, one of the weakest in the NBA. And now that they've got this player, they can probably go and even bigger favorites to win a championship. Besides, definitely one of the better signings this entire trade deadline, even though the trade deadline is done. Like, this was after the trade deadline, and it ends up getting a really good player And for the Pistons, it's the same thing. I mean, I don't understand this one at all, to be honest. I mean, you can't just give up everybody. I mean, it it, it honestly, it's just a bad situation for the Pistons as well. They end up losing a 3-point shooter, but I feel like this one is less significant than Reggie Jackson just because they already have players in that position. They have Christian Wood. They have Blake Griffin that's going to come back. They do have players in that position. So Markieff Morris isn't a bigger loss compared to Reggie Jackson because besides Derrick Rose, they don't really have much in that area. And it still sucks. The Lakers got definitely a good deal. So, of course, for the Lakers, they should be ecstatic for that. For the Detroit Pistons, it's just going downhill, man. It's just this is definitely the start of a rebuild for them. And I just think this was the wrong way to do it. But either way, nevertheless, they decided to go a different way than what I feel, and I hope it works out for them as a club, as a team, and we'll see where it goes. They have decent 3-point shooters, but I don't think any of their players, besides Derrick Rose, Blake Griffin, and maybe Christian Wood, who's developing into a very good power forward, they don't have the players to actually compete. They don't have any players that majority of the teams will consider starters, which that's their problem now. So they have a lot of fillers in their team at the moment. We'll see how everything goes. Next season is going to be important to decide their future. For the Lakers, this is probably going to be all or nothing for the Lakers until next season. We'll see what happens. Maybe they can sign a third max player. But for now, I definitely think they're the favorites to win a championship. We'll see how everything goes. That bench has gotten a little bit better. Kyle Kuzma is stepping up a bit more. So their bench has some character, some quality to them that they didn't have before. And this is one of those players that will definitely add a lot to a lot of offense to the team. And yeah, that's all I really want to talk about in terms of the NBA news. There will be a video coming soon about the Bulls' ownership. I just really want to get that video perfect. I want to express myself the right way. I just feel like it's just not the time to make that video until something really bad happens that will just make it, a little bit not really bad, but like something important, more updates, more news, because it's just basic stuff at the moment. There hasn't been much information. I'm not really saying anything bad, but like some more information on it so I can properly talk about it and not just sound stupid. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. This is the Sports Code. The next video will be probably either a FIFA 20 career mode or a WWE video. Anyway, take care and peace.